heartache over a burial. She wouldn't have to bury her child like her husband. She wouldn't have to, because I had something today I didn't have the day before. I had a chance. Finally. I'm so sorry, I had a meeting that ran late and then traffic. My brother walked in with familiar excuses, and I could only smile I got to hear them. I have a chance. Can you believe these fuckers almost wouldn't let me in? He said, waving his hands around at the staff of the downtown office. Bradbury's practice was associated with the city hospital, but she had her own office. Mom and I had been coming out of it when Asa had all but pushed his way in from the lobby the doctor shared with her other associates. He pulled a shoulder bag up his arm. Like, what the hell? I'm freaking family. I've been here 1,000,000 times. He had been here quite a few times. Well, when I would let him visit, that is. I hated the circus-like atmosphere, and even more so the attention. How ironic as I used to be at the heart of it. Those had been different times, I supposed. My twin's hands came down on my shoulders. My twin. My twin, though a stranger on the street would never know. Fraternal, the two of us looked nothing alike. Asa got my mom's dirty blonde hair while I took away with my dad's dark strands and even thicker beard. I had to do constant upkeep just to maintain my small layer, having more of a 10 than a 5 o'clock shadow. Asa had a beard too, but it looked more like golden peach fuzz, unless he grew it out for at least a month. Tell me it's good news, he said, and so I went into detail. I told him everything despite barely believing it myself. And on some level, I didn't think he did either. We had all been through this thing for so long. The resections of the original tumors, prostate cancer, and then the chemotherapy that followed immediately after that. That had been the hardest. We couldn't seem to get me in remission, and each trial of chemo only took me to a deeper and darker place. Eventually, I didn't see anyone. Eventually, I gave up, but it had been Asa who told me to keep on. He told me I couldn't leave him. He told me when I had my head in a bucket and I was on the floor shaking that I couldn't not do this. I couldn't not have life. We shared 31 years together, and he'd said he needed me for so many more. God, that seemed like so long ago. Me in the worst of my treatment. And I guess it had been. The physical effects of the chemo on my body were long in the past. I had a full head of hair now. My weight was back up, and my body felt strong. I placed my hands on the sides of my brother's face, feeling the best I'd been in so long. I guess you can't get rid of me just yet, little brother, I said, even though I was only older by minutes. He chuckled, the sound thick and full of emotion. He wasn't one to cry either. I guess today was full of miracles. He whipped an arm around me, and I didn't fight him, holding on just as hard. Eventually, Mom couldn't take it and joined in too. That's when the big tears fell, especially with my mom being such an emotional woman. She cried just watching Disney movies. Her hands went down our cheeks. I love you both, she said, her accent rough on the words. I know you hate that, but... We did, but considering today's events and the journey we'd been on together, we didn't. Which was why we both hugged her again. After we'd all gotten ourselves together, and Mom single-handedly drenched Asa's pocket square, we made our way into the office lobby. That's when the fun started, and I use that term lightly. Chaos, in the form of photographers, resided outside the normally docile family practice, and the minute Asa, Mom, and I cracked open Dr. Bradbury's double doors, their shutters went off like popcorn over a hot stove. They knew it was the three of us easily, only glass dividing us. How did they... That'd be me, chimed in Asa, cutting me off. He pushed his hands in his pockets, using his heels to turn his back toward the craziness. He chewed the inside of his cheek a little. I drove the Viper over. He drove the Viper with electric blue paint and his name clear on the back in airbrush. No one in all of Chicago drove anything as obnoxious as my brother. I pushed my hand through my hair. Asa, I'm sorry. I knew my meeting would cut things close and I wanted to get here quick. In his